Jaya Shiva Rajaya here from vitalcoaching.com. The topic for this video is what would the mature masculine do? Question mark. This is a question that I ask myself and that I invite you to ask yourself if you are a man and you are about to make some decision, or you're trapped in some emotional challenge, or you are having a fight, or you're having a challenge in your relationship, or have to make an important life decision, and so on. The question that you can ask yourself is, what would the mature masculine do? Of course, if you're a woman, you know, that reflects to you as well. You can go like, what would the mature feminine do in that space? The reason why we make it gender specific is simply to, you know, to make it more specific in this video. But basically you can generalize, of course, to humankind. What would a mature human being do? Okay? So we have a distinction inside of ourselves. We have kind of, when we start looking at our behaviors or our emotional reactions in life, we can actually make a distinction between performing in a way that is optimized or underperforming in certain situations. So basically, to simplify it, we can call it mature and immature, the mature masculine or the immature masculine. So examples of the immature masculine might be being needy, or being lacking emotional flexibility, or being really trapped in mindsets that are alienating you, or victimizing or collapsing in certain situations where you lose your dignity, or not showing up, or not being in alignment with your truth and with your highest possible values. And so when you're trapped in a situation that might be challenging, the question that you can ask yourself to access your higher self, to access your inner truth, is simply that. What would the mature masculine do in that situation? And very often it will give you an idea or a guiding system. Instead of entering into trigger mode or reactive mode in a given situation, you are going to start accessing a place of peace and centeredness, and start speaking or start doing things from that place. And again, you know, it can be what is the voice of your higher self right now? What would your higher self do or say? Or what would your mature masculine do? And if you start observing different situations in life, you will notice that at some moments in your life, you might really enter into immature behaviors, immature reactions, saying or voicing things in very immature ways. And you look at it after that, you say, oh, that was really stupid. Here is what I would say or do instead. And, you know, the idea of mature or immature is not just black and white, okay? You can, you know, you can quantify it in the sense of saying, well, it was 80% mature. I feel like I perform relatively well, but there is a range there where I can still optimize, or I can upgrade my game in that specific situation. Yeah, something else to understand when we talk about maturity or immaturity of the masculine, it's not about being perfect. You know, I might be in a place where, for instance, I have an access to my shadows. I might get triggered about something. I might be enraged about something. I might do things that are self-destructive to myself, or to my relationship, or to my love life, or to my body. You know, I might make decisions sometimes that are not really the best, and I might sometimes do things that could be labeled as an immature or a shadow expression of my being. What I consider to be mature or immature has a lot to do with awareness. For instance, if you are enslaved by emotions and things that you don't control, you know, for instance, you might have a jealousy outbreak in your relationship, and then that jealousy outbreak leads to all sorts of, you know, explosions, emotional distortions or disturbances in your relationship. Then eventually you end up clashing and breaking up with somebody over a jealousy outbreak, for instance. So what makes it mature or immature has a lot to do with the awareness and how you are surfing these energetic waves. It means that there are certain things that will happen within your system that you might feel enslaved by them. And so that would be an immaturity. The maturity comes when you are aware of what's happening and you're surfing the waves and mastering those waves. And yes, of course, together with that, it's also the idea of improving the game or improving the power, the impact that you might have on this planet and on humankind in positive ways. It means that overall you want, of course, to keep on increasing towards centering the values that you care for. And for me, what this means, the expression of the mature masculine, what the expression of the mature masculine means for me is for my own system, according to my values and according to the system that I live in. This mature expression might be something else for you. If you are a man and you are exposed to a certain situation, your mature masculine response might be something different than my mature masculine response. But what is really consistent in that is that there is an awareness, or there is something that could look like a conscious choice, okay, rather than something that really dominates your system. So if you want to access your guiding system and access your truth, here is what I encourage you to do. Next time you're faced with a challenge, just ask yourself, what would the mature masculine do? And if you are a woman, what would the mature feminine do in this situation? If you have any examples, specific examples or situations where you feel like, yes, you nailed it, you access that, please share in the comments. I want to hear about your stories. And any example as well of places where you didn't access your mature masculine or your mature feminine and you regret it afterwards, what would modify your response, or what would you do instead if you were exposed to the same situation again, speaking or acting from a mature place? Okay, that's it for now. Reach out if you have any questions. I'm always available for coaching. Remember, vitalcoaching.com/coaching. I love you. I'll see you soon.